Hello, my name is David Přikryl and I would like to show you our inner reality. We can talk about what inner reality is, how it looks, or what is it good for, but I think we can talk about it later, and the best thing would be to introduce inner reality directly through our empirical experience, which we will undergo in the following moments. We will take a tour through a few of many possibilities of how to enjoy understanding within the inner reality. The path to understanding inner reality is not about taking some exotic drug or experiencing a new rush of impulses. Instead, it involves sensory deprivation. We reduce the stimuli we normally process to free up our attention. This will allow us to observe more clearly processes that underlie our experiences, values, and judgments, which are usually hidden behind the noise of external reality. We can stop using what we will not need in inner reality, so we can first set aside the heaviest burden, our eyesight, and the associative pressure of the visual world coupled with it. And so, we simply close our eyes. And we notice how much of our attention is freed up for our needs. We can, with our eyes closed, look ahead and discover with relief that there really is nothing here in the original sense of the world. Finally, there are no objects or things that we can do anything with. There is no one to judge us. There is only the space of our attention and limited perceptions whose essence we can come to understand here. The next burden we can release on our way into inner reality is our facial expression. We relax the tense muscles in our face, release our expression. We give our facial expression, our facial muscles freedom, and thus we free ourselves from their influence. This place of release can be visited anytime during meditation to once again observe the tensions in our facial muscles and allow them to relax. Another relief we can grant ourselves on the path to discovering inner reality is the stillness of movement. We can break this stillness anytime and return to the world of dimensions. But if we remain still, ceasing our movement, we can observe how our body in this reality appears practically like a fading notion gained through our movement and vision. here we can take a look at our body, our hands, our fingers. How do they appear in this reality? And we can see the connection between our movement and the understanding of dimensions and distances. How big is our body here? How does a centimeter look here? What about a millimeter? What do its fraction look like? How does a meter look like in this reality? Or a kilometer? What meaning does dimensions as such hold for us here? And how is it connected with our body and its movement? We could spend time focusing on observing and analyzing this phenomenon, but now we will continue on our tour to explore another whole category of possibilities. And so, in this state of calm, we can focus our attention on our breath. And we can notice our evaluation of our breath. We wonder what it is like, if it is okay. And so we will leave our evaluation and see what our breath look like in this reality. And we can observe how each inhale is full of sufficiency and abundance. Through the entire inhalation, there is an absolute abundance of air, as much as we are able to exhaust. By the time we reach the end of the inhalation, our capacity to receive is fulfilled, and we begin to exhale. And with each exhalation, we can observe how through the whole exhalation there is less and less air, how we gradually humble ourselves, how gratitude is shown, how we return to ourselves, home, to our axis, to the place of reflection and expression. And so we can observe our breath, which was with us often unnoticed, without interruption until now. And in the space of inner reality, we can also notice that our breath is like a means of transport by which we can either rise to a state of excitement, restlessness, alertness, or descend to a space of calm. We can breathe as we please, but it seems best to breathe down into the back and into the belly and around into the space beyond, like an open skirt flowing out of us. to explore the current level of our being. And from this expansion into the current level of being, upon reaching its full extent, our full inhale, we swing back into the phase of exhaling. And on the exhale, we return back to ourselves, home, to our axis, and we can, with the exhale, descend one step lower to a state of calm. With the inhale, explore a new, calmer level of our being, and with the exhale, continue gradually lower and lower. And so we gradually descend closer to a state of calm. And at any time we can revisit our face and check, and if necessary, relax our facial muscles. We can again observe how this changes our emotions, how they appear in the space of our attention without our facial expressions. And once again, we can get closer with our breath to a state of calm. This is our home, place we return to, the place of safety and greatest intimacy. Here we can rest without any worries. Sit on a chair and calmly explore everything that interests us. All our values. How will the goal of our endeavors be created? What kind of breath do we have while doing so? What kind of feeling do we have? How does our effort look? What is that state? How does our breath of effort looks like? What does our hope look like? Our expectation, victory. What does our fulfillment of a goal look like? And what that silence look like after it? How does our disappointment appear? And how does our renewed hope look? All our evaluations can be seen in inner reality, in a new context, enabling us to understand them better. At any time, We can use this path to reach our inner reality and gradually explore all its possibilities and richness. But now we will slowly begin to return with gratitude. We will detach ourselves from the state of calm and begin to slowly rise in our exhalation, step by step, higher to the state of full alertness. When we open our eyes, we can notice for the first fraction of a moment how our attention begins to assemble the true reality from objects and the relationships between them. Relationships. We can open our eyes.